Welcome. I'll now call this December 3rd, 2020 meeting of the Oak Ridge Town Council to order, and I also want to welcome not only those here tonight, but those listening online. We're very happy to have you here tonight. I'll now call Mr. Steve Jolly forward to give our invocation. Please rise as you are able.
God, we come before you tonight just humble and very thankful. I know we just celebrated Thanksgiving, just a special time to set aside to be thankful for the things that we just enjoy every day. But I just ask that our hearts would be thankful every day. We think of the blessings and the gifts that you've blessed our nation with, God. It's incomprehensible to think of all the way back to our early beginnings, just how you've led and guided our leaders, our military, and protected us, God. We truly are a blessed people. And we just ask for your blessing now on our country. There's so much that's going on, God. We ask for your hand to be there for the unity that you can bring to our nation. Help us to just understand and reach out to those around us, God, to have understanding hearts. And may we look at those around us through your eyes. We certainly thank you, God, for our country and most especially, God, this neighborhood that we live in, Oak Ridge. Thankful for each person here, and God, especially for those who have chosen to be leaders and be guided by you. May wisdom and guidance be a part of this evening. May you just open people's hearts and minds and ears to truly understand and hear the concerns of people's hearts. May the business that's transacted here, God, just bring glory to you and just help advance the betterment of our community. In thy name, amen.
Thank you. Please join us in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. This meeting is being held in accordance with the Governor's Executive Order number 180, which is in effect through December 11th. During this phase, up to 10 people are allowed to meet together indoors, although government meetings such as this one are exempt from the indoor gathering limit. In addition, masks are required indoors when meeting with other people, with various exemptions, including one for those making speeches. We're live streaming this meeting via YouTube. To access the live stream, just search for the Town of Oak Ridge on YouTube. Once the meeting is over, a full recording of the meeting will be available both on YouTube with a link posted to the town's Facebook page as well. We'll now move to agenda item number 3, approval of our agenda. Is there a motion?
Make a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Second.
The motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion? If not, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? The motion passes and the agenda is approved. We'll move on to item number 4, approval of the minutes from our November 5th, 2020 meeting. Is there a motion, Council?
Motion that we approve the minutes of the November 5th, 2020 meeting as written.
Second.
The motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? The motion carries and the minutes are approved. We'll move to agenda item number 5, resolutions, proclamations, and announcements. I'm not aware of any, but is anyone else aware of an announcement that needs to be made? Hearing none, we'll move on to a report from the Guilford County Sheriff's Office. Please come forward to the podium, and we're interested to hear what's going on.
Evening, everybody. I'm Master Corporal Brewer with the Sheriff's Office. The first thing I have for you is the calls of service for November, which in Oak Ridge was a total of 99 calls. Out of those 99 calls, we had 2 assaults, 2 burglaries from a motor vehicle, 2 burglaries of residences, 1 domestic, 2 frauds, and 1 larceny, and 2 narcotics violations. Out of those 99, those are the most that I think are noteworthy to know about, but if anybody has any more questions about the other calls, I can give you more. Out of those 99, the 2 main ones, there was a a burglary of a residence on Julian Lane in Oak Ridge where suspects made entry into a house through an open front door, but were actually scared away by homeowners. They didn't realize anybody was going to be home, so nothing was stolen, nothing at a loss. But the second one was an attempted robbery on Bartonshire, where somebody is actually now in custody. That person was arrested for that attempted robbery and is still in jail at this point in time, and that was probably a week ago. He'll probably be in jail for a while. Those are the two main crimes that we've had in the month of November. Other than that, my captain wanted me to pass on a recent press release from Sheriff Rogers, just some helpful crime prevention tips for Christmas time. And I'll go through some of those main ones now. When parking your vehicle to go shopping, just make sure you park near a light post in a highly visible area. Never park in a remote, dark area. Have your keys in your hand when approaching your vehicle so you're ready to unlock the door and not be delayed. Avoid texting or talking on the phone while walking. Just anything that could distract you. You need to be observing your surroundings and make sure you see people around you, not looking down at your phone. The best place for any of your items, whether they're shopping and you're buying something or it's a purse or a wallet, is a locked trunk where it can't be seen. Don't leave visible items in your car as they're attractive to criminals. See here. Make sure to lock your vehicle and put up your windows, even while you're driving. I know we've said it many times before, but that's the most helpful thing that I've seen out here in my experience. Most criminals are not looking to make noise by breaking your window. They're looking to stay quiet. So if your doors are locked, you're doing a lot for yourself and for your family members. At teller machines to get cash, make sure you check around before you go and observe to make sure nobody else is around. And the last couple here, pay close attention to your bank accounts and credit card statements for suspicious activities. Many scammers, they use ATM machines, gas station pumps, or even restaurants, so be vigilant in protecting yourself. Shopping online, which most of us are doing right now due to COVID. Avoid using a debit card that's tied to a bank account. Use a credit card instead. That way they have a smaller limit to reduce the amount of loss. I can speak for myself that happened to me last week. That I had a debit card shopping online, and so I'm disputing those claims right now. So it happens quite frequently when we take reports on it all the time. So credit cards are better for online shopping. Avoid leaving boxes for trash pickup. So if you get a nice TV for Christmas or something like that, I wouldn't just stick that out by the curb because people know you have a nice TV at that point. Other than that, just be careful with buying some of this stuff. I know, in my personal experience, I know right now gaming consoles are huge. The PlayStation 5 and the Xbox, those new gaming consoles, are extremely difficult to get. Everybody wants one, but barely anybody has one because they did not release them in stores. You can only buy them online, and they go out of stock within about 5 minutes when they hit the shelf. So because of that, everybody wants one, but barely anybody has one. I would not feel comfortable walking in a parking lot with a PlayStation 5 box in my hand. That's how badly they're wanted. So stuff like that, just be very careful walking around. I would not keep them in plain view. The people I know who have gotten them, put them in another box to transport them, just so people don't know what's inside of it, because they're that wanted. But the three biggest things in the holidays are cars getting broken into, your packages that you're ordering online getting stolen off of your front porch. Most of those on your email will send you notification when it's actually been delivered. So it's good to have a neighbor or somebody, if you can't be there, to pick up your package for you, because that's a huge thing for people to steal packages off front porches. And it's as easy as them just driving by and seeing it and stopping to get it. And other than that, online fraud with the debit cards is a big thing. That's all I've got for you, unless you have any questions.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Well, no, hold on, guys. How are we doing on the speed enforcement down on Peoples Road?
On Peoples Road, I believe they put, I'd have to double check, but I believe that they put our enforcement sign up there. They catch a speed there for a bit. And now that we have a traffic team that Sheriff Rogers started, I think they've been in effect for, I don't know, you may not be aware of that, but it's called the SET team. They've been in effect for maybe...
That's where they have a team down there, or...
Yeah, it's an actual, all they do is work traffic. They're called the SET team.
Mm-hmm.
They're working traffic. They've been in effect for maybe 2 or 3 weeks. They're a new team.
Yeah.
But their job is specifically any complaints we get about speeding or any other traffic complaints. They will, and along with working with us in the district, because they work traffic, will be hitting those areas specifically.
How about in the 35-mile zone there at 60 on 68, down near 150?
Oh, near like Oak Ridge Commons and stuff like that.
It's our downtown, you know?
Yes, sir. Yeah, I've seen, they've had, obviously, a lot of what you'll see is those pickup trucks, the young kids that hang out in the parking lots. But those businesses have, and along with us, they've contracted out a company police that all they do is come up there and look at those parking lots. I think that's the majority of your speeders, those teenagers leaving that location. We've been able to crack down on that a good amount.
Okay, so we are enforcing it,
Yes,
right?
sir. Yes, sir.
Good.
Absolutely. Like I said, those businesses, because of them loitering, have even called in company police just to be in the parking lot. So now there's that company police making contact with those people in the parking lots, and then us making contact with them when they leave and they're speeding. So they're getting the idea that we're around.
Okay, good. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
Thank you again.
You're welcome.
We'll now move on to agenda item number 7, a report from our Oak Ridge Fire Department. Thank you for being here tonight.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Chief Ken Gibson with the Oak Ridge Fire Department. I'm just going to start off with how many calls we had last month, which was 71. Out of those, 41 were EMS calls, 38 being actually medical problems, 2 vehicle accidents with injuries, 1 vehicle accident without injuries. Next after that is good intent calls, which could be from someone locked out of their car to, a false alarm, whatever. Training hours, we had 157 of those for the month. We do have 6 of our firefighters taking a TR-VR class. That's a technical rescue. Once they finish that, they'll go to VR, which is vehicle rescue, and then they have a machinery rescue. We do require that for employment to have that certification, but if someone does it, we give them up to a year to get it. So, other than that, that's about it. And the holiday safety tips, of course, is if you're using a live tree, before you put it in the water, at least cut off 2 inches off the bottom, allows for more water absorption. Look for the drying out of the trees. Within 30 seconds, once a live tree ignites, that's it. So other than that, keep them away from fireplaces, any ignitable source. If you're using candles, blow them out, keep them away from curtains, put them where children can't get them. Old lights, if they're cracked, I'm going to take this off. Old lights, if they're cracked, the wires are frayed, please get rid of those. Never leave home with your lights on. I even say don't leave home with your lights on. I know I got a few more here. All poisonous plants, which holly berries, poinsettias, especially to pets. Fireplaces, don't have anything flammable, don't leave presents, this and that next to your open flame fireplaces if people still have those. So, a lot of using gas. Other than that, I believe that's it.
Yeah, I do. First of all, if you would face the council, because your report's to us. And
I'd kind of like to address everyone.
that's okay with you.
Yeah.
First of all, I've noticed that, have we had a couple of structural fires?
We did have one structure fire. It was off of East Harold. That was due to an electrical outlet or an outside porch light.
Okay, wow, an outdoor porch. And everybody okay?
Yes. There was
Good.
one occupant, they got out fine.
Good. Well, you guys are doing a great job.
Well, thank you very much.
Pleasure.
Thank you, Chief.
You're welcome.
Go ahead, answer questions.
We'll now move on to the town manager's report, and I'll turn the meeting over to Mr. Bruce.
Thank you, Madam Mayor and Council. Just two items this evening. The first is a request for approval of the Town of Oak Ridge 2021 meeting schedule and holiday schedule. As usual, we're following the state of North Carolina holiday schedule to be consistent with state employees.
Thank you. Council, you've had a chance to review this, the proposed meeting and holiday schedule. Is there a motion?
Madam Mayor, I make a motion that we approve the Town of Oak Ridge 2021 meeting schedule and Town of Oak Ridge 2021 holiday schedule.
Second.
The motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Those opposed? The motion carries and the schedules are approved. Thank you. Other business?
Another item this evening is a request for a budget amendment to allocate $5,300 raised from last year's Christmas at Maple Glade event to the Oak Ridge Military Academy to be used for the purposes as outlined in their award letter. The award had been intended to be released last fiscal year. However, due to several delays, the payment was held over fiscal years. This budget amendment for this fiscal year budget would authorize the finance officer to award the payment that had been authorized by council in the last year.
Thank you. Council, are there any questions? Hearing none, is there a motion?
Make a motion, we approve the budget amendment as presented.
Second.
Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Those opposed? The motion carries and the budget amendment is approved. Thank you.
Thank you, and that's all I have.
Okay, thank you very much. We'll move on to item 9, new business, consideration of our 2021 ORYA usage agreement, and I think it goes back to you again, Mr. Bruce.
Yes, thank you. The 2021 ORYA usage agreement that's attached to my memo for council's consideration follows the same structure and overall policy as the 6-month agreement that was adopted by council in July 2021. As you'll recall, that document went through a long series of discussions and meetings and was quite a departure from the usage agreement that we had for the previous decade or so. This agreement continues the same policies that were adopted 6 months ago, including the annual $30,000 subsidy provided to ORYA for field usage, lights, and other town services such as field prep and paint. The agreement also maintains a town representative on the ORYA board as part of an overall effort to improve communication and facilitate cooperation. This agreement was thoroughly reviewed by the Youth Athletic Subcommittee, which consists of Councilman Kinnaman, Councilwoman Pittman, Parks and Rec Director Terry Land, and myself, in consultation with the Executive Board at ORYA. It was also unanimously recommended for approval by the Parks and Recreation Advisory Board at their November 19th meeting.
Thank you. Before we open the floor for questions and discussion, I'll invite a motion on this matter, Council.
Madam Mayor, I make a motion that we adopt the 2021 ORYA usage agreement.
Second.
The motion has been made and seconded, and we'll now open the floor for questions and discussion. Councilman McClellan.
Quick question. Now, we did the 6-month. I recall we did that back because of the budget and the fiscal year. Am I correct? So now, will this be an additional $30,000? This will cover the calendar year.
That's correct. This agreement will be on a calendar year cycle simply because that's a youth athletics calendar. So there's no budget impact yet because we're not sure of what the total payments of ORYA will be to the town. Right. So when the stipend is used, and the town begins the process of billing for those excess field hours and lights and so forth. Once we have a better idea of what that revenue stream will be, we'll be asking the town council for budget amendments to address that. And
so how much did they spend during the first 6 months? Or
We allocated a $15,000 stipend, which was exceeded several weeks ago. So there have been several $1,000s of invoiced payments that ORYA will be paying to the town for the fall period.
So we basically, for 6 months, we had 15,000.
Correct.
This will then give them an additional 30,000.
Not an
for a full
not
year.
an additional 30,000. Each year, it'll be $30,000.
That's correct.
Okay, so technically, so they really only have 15,000.
We got 15,000 for this year, ending in December 31st.
Ending,
January 1st, they will get a new stipend of $30,000 broken up into 2 segments. $15,000 for the first 6 months, and then $15,000 for the second 6 months.
okay, so it stays within the parameters of our fiscal year.
No, it stays within the calendar year.
Well, no.
A new
I'm
agreement
talking about-
starts- a new
well,
agreement starts
no,
January
you
1st.
misunderstand what I'm saying. I said, you get, okay, they'll, starting January, they'll have 15,000 that will go from January 1 through July 30th. June 30th.
Yes,
Am I correct?
yes.
Okay. Then the second 15,000 starts in the new
July
fiscal
1.
year, which is the new fiscal year.
It just
That's
happens.
exactly-
It just happens that
No,
way.
that's what I'm saying. I'm just saying that.
I understand.
You're basically saying that the same thing that I'm saying.
Yes, we are.
Okay, so
Okay, let's move on.
that's, so that was my question, just to make sure we're not, but we still will have to do some budget amendments for the first 15,000. Am I correct on that?
Right, and I mean, this is a new agreement, and so we're learning the ropes and understanding how the stipend will be used and to what level the stipend will be used by ORYA.
Okay, I'm just trying to clarify that for me, make sure I'm okay. Good, thank you.
Mayor Pro Tem Kinnaman.
Just to clarify, we don't give them $30,000. They basically get a $30,000 credit that they can use to counter the usage. When that $30,000 is finished, then they start paying like anyone else would pay for use of the field, which is actually happening this year. They exceeded the $15,000 allotment. So anything that exceeds the $15,000, they're actually paying the town for using the fields. So we will get some revenue from ORYA. Now, if during the first 6 months, they don't use all their $15,000, the remaining $15,000 will roll over into the second 6-month period. So they don't lose it if they don't use it in the first 6 months. It gets rolled over. But if they exceed it, of course, in the first 6 months, they'd have to start paying. So I have no questions since I've been intimately, go ahead.
So you're basically saying if they exceed the 15...
Lean into your microphone.
Oh. If they exceed the 15,000, then in this first 6 months of the new year, then they would have to pay the
Correct.
town. Okay.
And then in July 1st,
First, another 15,000
Correct.
starts.
Yeah.
And,
But yeah.
which is the credit. I mean, it's a good deal.
yeah, it is. It's more, we are allowing them more money than we did in the past. So this is definitely it definitely saves them money. So we are making an investment in them. It's just that we're not just giving them money, there is an allotment. So in the past, I think, Martha, we figured the subsidy that we were doing was like
About
20?
25.
25.
About 25
So we've
a year.
increased our investment. So,
20 to 25.
yeah.
Okay, thank you. Councilwoman Pittman.
The only thing that I would add to kind of clarify that is the town of Oak Ridge has always provided field usage free of charge, essentially free of charge, to ORYA, and they paid for lights and that kind of thing. There is a fee schedule that we decided we wanted to quantify because nobody had any idea what the value of what services or subsidy the town was providing to ORYA. So ORYA really didn't appreciate how much they were getting, and we had no idea what we were giving. So this whole thing has been an effort to quantify the subsidy or what the town is providing. And lights was a big issue. It was expensive. It was unpredictable. And so we went straight to the fee schedule for that on a per hour and set up the stipend. So just to clarify why we went to this type of thing. And I think it's worked fairly well. I think everybody is still learning because we've only used it for 6 months in what is very unusual times. But I'm still very optimistic that this model can and will be successful in the future.
Thank you. And that's an excellent point, that what happened was that with your help and your leadership, and thank you both, and Mr. Bruce and Terry Lannon, for doing this, we quantified the usage, but we also got a greater understanding among all of the parties, their leadership and the town leadership. And that's reflected in the increased communication. Mayor Pro Tem Kinnaman is now sitting on their board, and obviously they've had a long-standing presence on our Parks and Rec Advisory Board. So this is all to the good, and we're really grateful to everyone for working through the additional details. It's an excellent agreement, and we are just very thrilled and proud to be supporting youth athletics in Oak Ridge in this way. Is there any further discussion?
I'm assuming that they've agreed to this as well, right?
Yes, and they will be asked, of course, to take a formal action on the agreement, but we've worked with them throughout this process.
Okay, so they'll be signing. No, I really no other questions, Madam Mayor, other than the fact that it is, I think it's a good agreement. I think it firmly, codifies the relationship. So I see absolutely no reason not to.
Okay, I'm going to call the question now. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? The motion carries, and the agreement for 2021 is approved. We'll now move to item number 10, the monthly financial update, and I will invite our finance officer, Mr. Sam Anders, forward to present the financial report.
Good evening, Council. And I know that, like Christmas, you've been waiting for this report.
Excuse me, Mr. Anders, I think we're having trouble hearing you. Maybe pull the microphone a little closer.
Okay, the light was
That's
off.
better.
Okay. The light just turned bright green. Does that mean?
Good thing.
Okay. It just blinked. Okay. All right. Anyway, we have adjusted for that on the financials. The money is still in fund balance. It's just simply a line item and segregated for tracking. The income for the month, $42,832.
Did the green light go out again?
Doing it again? Oh. Okay. Thank you.
That took an attorney to fix.
Yes. Well, as an aside, the fire department swears that I can touch a radio and kill them, even at a glance. Me and communications equipment just don't work well. Anyway, we've got sales and property taxes. We had some of the deposit for solid waste, a little bit of facility rental, So 42.8 on revenues. We've got a total of 940,000 so far this year. And for expenses, we've spent a total of 874. During this last month, we spent 175,000, which was primarily, we had the audit that came in, we had to pay for that. The well monitoring, which is a once a year, some special events, the historic preservation. So we had some one-time items that came in, and a little extra operations and maintenance because of the cleaning and such. Behind that, you've got Schedule 1 with the breakdown of the monies at each bank, followed by your detail of all the income and expense items. And then at the back is your assets and the debt structure on the Whitaker farm. Basically, we're monitoring our investments. We've had some contracts with the staff, working with them for the month, various projects. I skipped over the top one. The property taxes, we got notification of wire transfer totaling $19,767.70 for motor for property tax and $73,93.67 for motor vehicle for a total of $27,161.37. Those should be coming into the accounts, if not already there today. Overall, the property tax collections are running at or ahead of where they were last year in the gross sense. So overall, income stream is looking very stable. We're still, from what we're hearing with the sales tax and the property taxes, it's still better, much better than we were forecasted and given advice on in the spring. So that's a very good turn of events. The last thing I've got is a request for a budget amendment. During the current budget, we had a capital expenditure set up for the large format printer. After investigation by the staff, advice from the council, it was more cost effective to lease the printer than it was to do a straight buy on it. So this is adjusting the capital expenditure down and moving some of that expense for a year's worth of lease payments to equipment lease. Totals $3,110.31, and that'll cover the lease payments in total for the period during this year that we have actually got it in service. Mm-hmm. And this is just basically a rotation between capital up into the operating budget. And I just would like to ask for a vote on that and then the report.
Thank you. So, Council, we need two motions, one to make a budget amendment for $3,110.31 and one to approve the financial report. Is there a motion?
I'd like to make a motion that we approve the requested budget amendment in the amount of $3,110.31.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? The budget amendment passes. Thank you. And now a motion on accepting the financial report as presented.
Madam Mayor, I make a motion that we accept the financial report as presented by the Chief Financial Officer.
Is there a second? The motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? And the financial report is accepted. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Good job.
We will now move on to item number 11, a period of public comment. And I'll first ask if we have received any public comments by phone or email. We have not. So is there anyone here who would like to speak tonight? If so, raise your hand. Come forward to the podium, state your name and address, and we ask, as always, to keep comments relatively brief so that others may have time to speak as well.
Okay, Madam Mayor, thank you for your time and all of your time here tonight. My name is Ann Lang, and I am here with my neighbors. There are 4 houses on Sap Acres Lane, which is next to GTCC and across the street from Peoples Road. All 4 homeowners would like to be represented here tonight. We have Karen and Keith Styler here, as well as Stan Ward, and then our other neighbors out of town but would like to be represented, John Welsh. I am here before you to ask for your help because Governor Cooper has dedicated $23 million to expand high-speed internet across North Carolina for residents in rural counties. You would think that Sap Acres, being next to GTCC and across from Peoples Road, which has high-speed internet, would have high-speed internet, but in fact, AT&T, North State, Spectrum have all declined provision of residential high-speed internet to Sap Acres. So I finally was able to convince Spectrum to provide high-speed internet to Sap Acres, and I personally went into a contract and am willing to pay for all 4 houses on Sap Acres to receive high-speed internet access. And Todd Lewis from Spectrum has worked diligently since July to help secure high-speed internet for us. But we have a neighbor on Route 68, Lee Winfrey, that has decided that he will not sign a right of entry form. There is a telephone pole on his property. It does have an easement, and Duke owns it, and Duke is willing to give Spectrum possession of that pole. There's no digging required on Lee Winfrey's property. They don't have to have vehicles on his property. They just need a human being to climb up that telephone pole. And Lee Winfrey has decided to charge me $2,500 so that I can buy the airspace. That's what this form gives Spectrum the ability to do, is climb on the telephone pole and activate airspace. But Lee Winfrey has decided that he would like $2,500 for that right. And so I just, Spectrum has never heard of selling of airspace. They've never run into this, but they have decided that they are not going to be held in a negotiating position with Lee Winfrey. So therefore, Sap Acres will continue to go without high-speed internet. Any advice from any of you? Is the selling of airspace something new and different and something that's happening now?
Typically, we actually don't respond during this period, but during council comments, council members may choose to respond.
Right.
So this is really your time.
Thank you for your time and listening. We just respectfully ask for anyone's help. And I only brought up the Governor Cooper's $23 million dedication to rural counties to receive internet. Because if the state of North Carolina is funding all of this money towards high-speed internet, how is it possible for someone to say, nope, I get to sell the airspace? So thank you all for your time, and I hope someone can think of something to help us.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who wishes to speak? This is your chance. Okay, we will move on then to committee reports. Item number 12, we have a 3-minute limit on committee reports, but I think they're all going to be read into the record by our town clerk. So I'll turn it over to you, Sandra.
Thank you, Mayor. The Special Events Committee submitted this report from Patty Domchowski, who's the chair. The Special Events Committee had a very successful open house for the community on November 10th. Revington Reeves coordinated the evening with videos, posters, and comment cards for all attendees. Special events members were available to answer all questions and comments from the attendees. Comments and suggestions are being reviewed and incorporated into the final design, and this has to do, obviously, with the Veterans Memorial that's being designed. Incorporated into the final design, which will be presented to the Parks and Recreation Advisory Board and to the Town Council by the end of the year. Also at the open house, Harvey Wolf, a senior at Oak Ridge Military Academy, had a display table for his senior project of obtaining information on veterans and their connections to Oak Ridge. On November 11th, which was Veterans Day, the Special Events Committee coordinated a ceremony to honor all veterans at the park. Despite the rainy weather, a great crowd gathered to hear many of Oak Ridge Town Council representatives and volunteers. Our local scouts presented the colors, led the Pledge of Allegiance, explained the new flag retirement site, and closed out the ceremony with the playing of To the Colors. The Women's Club of Northwest Guilford County presented flags and stars from old flags to all the veterans. The Parks and Rec Advisory Board presented a check for over $2,000 to the committee from the proceeds of the sale of bricks in the current park. We would also like to thank Bill Bruce, his son, Sandra Smith, and Ashley Royal for all their help in making this ceremony a success. Many thanks to all who attended, and we look forward to having a Memorial Day ceremony in 2021. The committee is currently working on a name for the Veterans Site. Over 40 names have been suggested, and the committee has whittled them down to 15. The final decision will be presented to the Parks and Recreation Advisory Board and Town Council for approval. The committee is working on their annual Light Up the Night at the park during the month of December. This year we will install electric luminaries around the Christmas tree area and the outer circle area of the park. These are like the ones used at Wake Forest and High Point universities. A major thank you to Caroline Ruck for coordinating this activity and for all the assistance from the Parks and Recreation Advisory Board. We also like to display the stars used every year, and we have already decorated the Redmond House and the town signs for the holidays. The Special Events Committee would like to thank Town Council and the Parks and Recreation Advisory Board for all its help in making this a very successful year for the committee. Our best wishes for a healthy and happy new year.
Thank you. Anything from Mountains to Sea Trail Committee?
Not get a report from them.
Okay, and I don't think you got anything from Conservation Easement, right? Okay, and Parks and Rec?
Rec did not meet this month, so no report.
Okay. And I know Finance and Water Advisory Board did not meet either. How about Historic Preservation Commission?
Yes, Debbie Schoenfeld, Chair, submitted this report. The HPC met on November 18th. They approved COAs for Kelly Suzanne Feeler for a fence at 2405 Oak Ridge Road, Matt Walraven for a monument sign at the Autumn Gate Drive entrance to Oak Ridge Elementary School at 2050 Oak Ridge Road, David Stevens representing Sarex DA LLC for the installation of new updated signs at CVS Pharmacy, 2300 Oak Ridge Road, and Truist Bank for installation of new updated signage at BB&T SunTrust located at 8002 Marketplace Drive. And I'm happy to answer any questions about that if I'm able.
Okay, I don't think there are any. Thank you. And Planning and Zoning?
No report from Planning and Zoning.
Okay. Well, thank you. And do we have any reports from?
We missed one. Parks and Recreation Board.
I'm sorry. Okay.
Phyllis Anders, Vice Chair, submitted this report. The board met by Zoom on November 19th. The staff report was given by Terry Lannon and was followed by the ORYA report by Kelly Riddle. New business consisted of the 2021 usage agreement, and Bill Bruce and Terry Lannon discussed that. Then a discussion of the Whitaker property's next step was also brought up. The walking trails around this property will open up next. Terry Lannon, Parks and Rec Director, said Oak Ridge had been turned down for the PARTIF grant, which was applied for, but next year we will reapply in hopes of a better outcome. Patty Domchowski and Caroline Ruck from Special Events gave an update on the luminary event to be held December 5th. They will be using new luminaries that can be used year after year. There will be no meeting in December. Merry Christmas to all.
Thank you. We'll now move to item number 13, community organization reports. Do we?
I'm sorry to interrupt, but
Sure.
did get a report from the MST committee. It came in after 4:30 today.
Oh, okay.
I'm happy to read it from my phone.
Please do, thank you.
From Bill Royal and Ann Steele, who are co-chairs of the MST committee. As our new bridge is now usable by hikers, the Riverside portion of the Headwaters Trail was GPS mapped this month by Jim Grody from the Friends of the MST. The new section totals 1.2 miles and is currently being added to the official MST route. It should be visible shortly on their website maps and online guidebook updates. The Headwaters Trail name was approved by Guilford County for use in the Cascade section, so we are moving ahead with our signage project. Signpost designs, locations, and directional content are being finalized. The committee has been working with Oak Ridge staff, the Oak Ridge Fire Department, Guilford County, and Greensboro City EMS officials to agree on a plan for emergency signage throughout the Oak Ridge Trail system. Signs will match the 6-inch by 6-inch diamond-shaped design used on the Greensboro watershed trails and will be located every quarter mile throughout our trails. Lastly, we had planned a workday to complete the bridge, ramps, and maintenance of the trail over the Thanksgiving break, but chose to postpone it due to recent increases in COVID case counts and local hospitalization rates. This work is not urgent and will be rescheduled as soon as we believe it is safe to work together outdoors again.
Okay, thank you very much. I'm glad we got that in. And are there any community organization reports?
I received a report from Oak Ridge Elementary from Penny Lotion, the principal. She says, here at Oak Ridge, we are getting back into the swing of things. We currently have most of our kindergarten through second grade students attending for a full day, while other K-2 students are being taught remotely. In January, we will expand with our third through fifth grade students returning as well, while those who choose to remain being taught remotely will continue until the end of the school year. The staff is eagerly awaiting the day when all K-5 students are back in the building. We do know that in January, traffic will increase during arrival and dismissal times, so we would greatly appreciate the community's patience and understanding as we work through the first couple of days until everyone becomes familiar with the procedures. All students have been receiving instruction remotely this week as a district precaution following the Thanksgiving break. We will resume face-to-face instruction next week. Our staff continues to follow all CDC and district protocols for ensuring that staff, students, and families are safe. This week, during remote instruction, our custodial staff has worked diligently to conduct a deep cleaning of the entire building and will resume their normal cleaning schedule next week. Staff are ensuring that we are social distancing, wearing a mask at all times, and of course washing our hands frequently and using hand sanitizer. Staff are also ensuring these procedures are occurring daily with our students. We greatly appreciate our parents who are working to make sure students come to school prepared to follow these procedures and are keeping their children home if they're sick. We know there's an increase in Guilford County in regard to the number of confirmed COVID-19 cases, but we know if we continue to do our part and the community does its part, we will get through this together and see a decrease in the numbers. As always, we greatly appreciate the support of the community provides us here at Oak Ridge Elementary. A shout out to the Shell Station, who recently donated gift cards to be used in drawings for our staff members. Also a shout out to Central Baptist Church for the donation of Walmart gift cards so our counselors may support families during the holidays. Tire Max in the nearby communities of Stokesdale and Summerfield recently donated vouchers for a free oil change and tire rotation to be used for a drawing by our staff. As the saying goes, it definitely takes a village, and we are extremely lucky to have so much support.
Thank you. We'll now move on to a second period of public comments. Is there anyone who wishes to speak? Seeing no one, we will move on to council comments, item number 15, and we'll start with Councilman McClellan.
First of all, let me just say thanks for coming. And, well, we do have some good news. As we all know, we've been having to contend with the COVID-19 virus. And, of course, I'm, like most people, wearing a mask where appropriate when I'm not speaking or drinking coffee. But the good news is that we are only a matter of weeks away, it seems, from what we're hearing on news reports and others, of a vaccine, 2 vaccines that will probably be approved. So, while it may not be the beginning of the end, it is certainly, I guess, in the words of Churchill, the end of the beginning. So, but the point is that we've just got to stay the course and, practice the social distancing, wear the doggone mask, even though it's frustrating, and just, do the right things. Or as our mom has always taught us, wash our hands. And we are, there is some good news out there. In addition, I want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and a Happy Hanukkah. I happen to love the season of light. Thank you.
Thank you. Mayor Pro Tem Kinnaman.
To visit the residents' comments about, does the town attorney have anything to maybe add that we could possibly do there? Okay. I think most of you noticed that Councilman Nodine's not here. Hopefully he recovers well. Just a little bit under the weather.
Thank you for mentioning that. I meant to mention that at the beginning. Right.
He'll be back with us next month. As always, blood drive's coming up the 14th at the Oak Ridge United Methodist Church. It's a great way to get into the holiday spirit, is to donate blood. Again, it saves up to 3 people's lives. So, especially with the pressure on the hospitals, making sure they have an adequate blood supply would be a great gift to them. To the point about the vaccine, we have another 6 months of tough haul here, even with the vaccines. It's going to take 6 months, they say, for us to all get vaccinated. So it's critical. We have over 100,000 people in the hospital nationwide. 3,700 people died yesterday. Well, reported died. Hospitals are starting to talk about postponing elective surgery. So it's starting to impact people, not just if you have the disease, but if you need a hip replacement or a knee replacement or some other elective surgery. So as Councilman McClellan said, we need to really keep up with the face masks. Whenever you're outside, regardless of whether you're outside or not, wear the mask. If you're with someone that you don't live with, wear the mask. You never know when someone's going to break social distancing, so it's really important to wear the mask regularly, constantly. Christmas is coming up, Hanukkah is coming up. In the next month, there's a number of holidays. So to cover them all, I'm just going to wish you a great holiday season, and hopefully we have a great new year. Thanks.
Thank you. Councilwoman Pittman.
I just want to say that when I was thinking about tonight's meeting, I realized that it was 1 year ago that I was sworn in. And it's certainly been a very unusual year. So I don't know if I know what it's like to be on council during normal time. But I do know that our staff and our committees and all the volunteers and our citizens and my fellow members of council have done everything. And I really think that we have done everything we would have done under normal circumstances this year, thanks to staff and the work of council to coordinate and all of our volunteers. I just don't think it's hampered us because we have found ways to work around it and do what we can do. As Jim says, whatever your faith tradition, whatever your cultural traditions are, I hope everyone has a very blessed and very full holiday season in the next few weeks. Merry Christmas.
Thank you. I want to thank Ann Lang and other neighbors on Sap Acres Road for coming tonight. I think this is hopefully the beginning of finding a solution, and I really appreciated talking to you on the phone today and hearing your comments today that you're focused on a solution, and we will help you find one. I think one of the things we can do is possibly coordinate. I'll put out some calls to our county commissioners, and possibly we can coordinate a creative strategy to find a solution for this problem. So thank you for being here tonight. I also want to just a quick correction. I think one of the reports referred to the Light Up the Night as being on December 5th, which is Saturday. We are hoping that it will take place on December 6th, Sunday. We found out that the 5th wouldn't work. Special Events Committee members and volunteers from across the community will be gathering tomorrow, and if any of you want to help, we're starting at 9:30 here in Council Chambers. We have over 700 luminaries to kind of put together. You have to put the bulb in and do all sorts of stuff, and then we have to lay them out. We're trying to beat the rain that's expected tomorrow afternoon, so that by Sunday night, and we'll send out an announcement tomorrow if it all works out, we can all take a stroll through the park for a pretty magical experience. I'm looking forward to this holiday season. I'm thankful to have family home, and I wish everyone else a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and a Happy New Year. We'll see you in 2021. Thank you. We've now reached the end of our agenda, and
Mayor, I just want to take a moment to congratulate you on your recent appointment by the county to the COVID task force.
thank you. Thank you. Yes, I have been appointed to a county-wide COVID advisory leadership task force, and I'm happy to share with the members of the public information about what that task force is doing. And I decided not to go into those details, but I'll be making a post about what's going on my...
Time to congratulate you, because I think it's a big honor.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that, and I'm happy to serve. And I'm representing the various small towns, and I've talked to the mayors in Stokesdale and Summerfield about it and gotten their input. So thank you. And with that being taken care of, we'll move on to item 16, adjournment. Is there a motion?
Go ahead, Joe.
Oh, no, you go ahead.
Make a motion, we adjourn.
Second.
The motion has been made and seconded. All in favor of adjournment signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? We are adjourned. Thank you, everyone.